Hi, I'm Deb Peterson. I'm here with my co-host,
Deana Valente.
Yes, and we are back with Dr. Robert Kandarjian, one of our favorites, and we're going to continue our conversation that we had a few weeks ago because we just have so many things to talk about.
Sure.
Because you've been doing this for...
Yeah, we'll carry on.
Yes, a lot of years. So I think we left it off.
Well, before we get started, because Deb and I need to stay healthy, would you mind scanning both of us and letting us know what we might need?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. You plant your feet.
Yeah, we have to plant our feet, yes.
Right. Like for you, I would increase your C intake.
Okay.
Whether you get it from oranges or take like a couple of 100 milligrams a day.
Okay.
It feels like you need more C. I don't know why you're getting depleted with C. Could be stress. Stress can do that.
What do you think?
It's probably more stress with you. So I would.
I'm sorry.
Like for the next 10 days, like take C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do.
And you got to sleep better.
Okay.
Your sleep looks interrupted to me.
Okay. We'll do.
Yeah.
So Dr. Robert, I just have to give in case you didn't see the first episode, he is an intuitive energy healer. He's actually a chiropractor background, and he is amazingly intuitive. And he just downloads the information, and he's a medical intuitive. So we love it when something hurts us or is not going right, and we call him and ask him what's happening, and he just can pinpoint it. So that's what we're doing. I just wanted to say that in case.
Thank you.
All right, what do I need? I'm trying to delay what
I was just going to say, you're really trying to sidestep here.
Yeah, okay.
Well, what you need is to slow down. That's.
I think we just talked about that on something else. Yeah.
That feels strong.
And Deana doesn't have to, which is hilarious because
Yeah.
I'm a little older.
Could be the age, but no, I think Deana doesn't have to because her system's different than yours.
Okay.
You know, I don't think she's as revved up as you.
No. Interesting.
You know,
Meditate every day.
you're
This is true. You do, right?
You're more revved up. You're
Well, Robert used to tell me I had two-
nothing's wrong with being revved up, but you got to know when to pull back.
Right.
Like, I think she pulls back better than you do.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to pull back a little bit.
Robert, you told me years ago I had two switches.
You what?
I had two switches, high and off.
Right. Yeah.
I do sleep a lot. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Okay. So what?
Yeah,
I slow down.
I think for you, slow down is not physical; it's really mental. Like, and the way to do it is just don't overthink. Like, God's helping you. Like, just trust. You're on the path to serve others, as you do in this podcast and other works that you do, and you're supported. I think that's it. Like, just keep remembering, I'm supported by God.
Thank you.
And your overthinking will drop.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. And
all right. On that note, I'm going to leave. And take a note.
I'm just going to say to you that if you hear me in the middle of conversations say, "Hey, Deb, you are supported." Just be like, okay, damn it. Thank you.
Slow down a bit. Okay.
actually, it might be it might be a good idea for you, like in your office, at your desk, or here, like put a little frame, like, I'm always supported by God, like just to remind you.
Set in my path.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
So, Robert, that's thank you for that.
Yeah.
And that goes to show a little bit of the work that you do, but you also will work and move people's blocks, right? Rather when you scan
Hands-on.
Yes.
Right.
As well as
I think we talked about that I'm sorry.
And you can also do long distance, like I was saying, you can heal anyone anywhere because there's no time and space.
Sure.
Energy.
The cosmic, the collective cosmic consciousness does not operate in time and space. So yes, somebody can be in Australia, and as long as they're open and we have soul permission, we can send the energy. And also, it's really, I teach this to healers, who want to improve their abilities. One of the most important things is to be detached from the results, to not make promises, to just say, okay, I have permission, we're going to work on you, and let's see how it evolves.
Right.
And be detached from the results. And sometimes the results because the personality in us wants certain results. So I want them to get well. I want them to not die, right? But sometimes that's not what the soul wants. You know, maybe the soul wants them to continue to physically stay sick or suffer because there are lessons in that suffering.
Yes.
Okay? So we have to be detached from the results. We do the best we can, and the rest is in God's hands.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not saying that because I want to get off the hook, like, you know,
Right.
well, I did the best, and if you didn't get better, that's not my fault. No,
Right.
it's just some people aren't going to get well, is my point. You know, like we have to teach that. Like some people are not going to get well because their resistances are high, number one. Number two, their life lessons have not been learned yet. And a lot of times, especially on planet Earth, lessons are usually learned through hardship. Lessons are learned through suffering the hard way. Not everybody takes their lessons the easy way, you know? And like, to just give a comparison, like, you know, you have a cigarette smoker who doesn't want to give up his addiction or her addiction. And they want to, but they don't. And eventually they develop some kind of a physical problem. And as it becomes more serious and they're suffering, they may give up their habit, you know, their addiction, or they may even not. They may still continue.
Right.
So, you know, this is a difficult planet to navigate through and learn lessons. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, well, since we're going to talk about this, and then the lessons, like, do people come in with one? How many do they come in? Or I think I read, or you might have told me years ago, like 3 main ones or something like that.
Yeah, there are major and minor.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of our major lessons have to do with family members, right? Like our association and our relationships with family. And of course, what I mean by that is the roles that we play, right? What role do you play in the family? If you are, I mean, a healthy person is able to switch roles, you know. One day I can be the responsible child, the responsible caregiver to family members. The next day I can be playful. So life lessons have to do a lot with roles and the roles that we play. And if we're stuck in a role, then we have a problem. That means we're not balanced, right? If I can be responsible and as well as playful and light, then I'm more balanced. So yeah, the major lessons come through family stuff. And certainly if we're not resolved them through family, it will eventually move into the marriage, right? Or the more intimate relations as an adult, whether that's a marriage or partnership, or even in business relations. We may end up in a business relationship, a transaction that can really, throw us off center because we haven't learned those lessons. How many as to numbers?
I'm just saying typically. I don't know if there is a typical.
I mean, usually there's going to be at least 2, 3, 4 lessons that are major.
And the soul chooses those lessons, right? When we're on the other side, before we come in.
Yeah, the soul journey, I would say. Like the soul is always journeying, right?
Okay.
It's always journeying.
Right.
It came from the ocean and divided itself as a droplet, the ocean being God, right? It divided itself as a droplet, and now it's moving through a journey, right? Through lifetimes. And and of course the healing there would be to go back to the ocean. So it's a kind of a cyclical thing. It's not a linear thing.
That's right. A cyclical. Many.
I would say the biggest lesson for all of us as humans is I would say the number one major lesson is to recognize that we are a drop of the ocean and to set the intention to reunite.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Right.
Because we are.
I think all the other lessons are secondary, tertiary. Try to steer.
God.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Yeah. And of course there are minor lessons. The minor lessons are they're just, I think the minor lessons are about emotional balance, learning humility, learning empathy, learning to rest, listening to the body. That's a very big lesson for all of us.
Right.
People who are hyped up, who live in cities, we don't listen to our bodies. We're we're so geared up. We're operating out of will. We're not operating out of like, oh, this is what my body's telling me I should do this. Because a lot of times for us folks, the body, we're saying go, 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 but the body is saying no, but we're not listening. So like in a lot of my healing, like I'm actually teaching people to, what does your body say?
Yeah, you do say that a lot. Yeah.
What does your body say? I mean, women can do this usually better than men because women are more connected to the body because of their biological phases and through the centuries. So, yeah, we have to listen to our bodies. I mean, yeah, the whole idea of life lessons is quite complex, and we could spend hours on it.
Yeah, well, tell us a little bit. I mean, whenever you want to. Yeah, I mean, how can people get in touch with what they are? How can people...
Robert, I have a question for you. When you start working with someone, can you quickly see their life lesson, or
not always? Not
always, but when you start working on them,
within session, 2 sessions, yes. Some people very quickly. It's very everybody's different because, like I said in part 1 of our conversation, like it depends on their resistance, their armoring, and shielding, whatever term you want to use. If they have, if their armoring is strong, it may not be easy to see it right away,
or to be able
or to break it, or to or move it. I mean, they may want to move it, but when it comes to that point where they're gonna move it, they may get scared and say, "No, I'm not gonna move it. I want to go back to the way things were."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't think I answered your question.
You did, and we do have some of our crew here who is very open.
Yeah, they are. I know. They're getting quite the education.
Yes. Would you feel like working on one?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Does anyone want to volunteer?
Yeah, I don't know if we can go into what their life lesson
No,
is,
I know that.
but we can certainly do a demonstration of like how we can move the chakra system and the energy body to create balance. Ultimately, for me, the definition of health is balance, right? So it's always about moving the person to a place of balance between the yin yang,
too. Yeah.
Yin yang, the
Energy.
flow.
Yeah.
Right.
So we got Sherry.
Okay.
The son of our.
Sherry. Hello.
That's me, doctor.
Anyway, I'm actually going to do this from a sitting position because it's going to be easier to do it that way. Just open the feet a little wider. Okay, so it's just about tuning in and getting out of the head, right? Not thinking and overthinking. I don't know what his complaint is. We're not going to go into that. We're not doing a session. All I'm doing is observing how the energy body is moving around. And so what I get very quickly is that we need to pay attention to this area and bring this energy down into the feet because it's flowing more up than down. So what that tells us is like there is a thinker here that needs to have more earth energy, right? So like this is somebody I would say, I want you to do some boxing. I want you to do some like physical aggressive work to bring you more into your feet and less into your upstairs, right? It's like the elevator sometimes goes up and doesn't come down. The elevator should be flowing up and down, the elevator being the central energy force. So what we want to do is balance, right? We want the energy up, but we don't want it to get stuck up there. We want it to also come down. Sometimes they'll feel it, sometimes they don't. Everybody's different. So we know that sound, music, instruments affect the body, right? Let's keep your head straight if you don't mind. So music affects the body. It's a vibration. So we're going to use some sound. It feels like this area needs some sound.
Okay, good.
Okay, try facing that corner. Good. A little more. Thank you. Turn face me, please. Good. A little more. Good. There we go. Thank you.
Could you feel that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Interesting.
Yeah, can you tell us what you felt?
Just like energy's kind of going down.
You felt it going down?
Yeah, I felt it going down. Felt my legs feeling more alive. If it doesn't sound too crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, we
We do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, we know it.
that's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Robert, what does he need?
What does he need?
Yeah, does he need anything?
His needs are more psychological, not physical.
Okay.
It's not like he needs nutrients or diet.
Yeah.
But,
Please do.
I mean, I do feel like there's a sugar issue that we need to watch with your family line. So I would go easy on the bad carbs and the sweets.
Guess we should eat.
Very strong heart. A lot of. Can I comment on?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you. A very strong heart energy, which means like he has a lot of empathy and which is good, but it's too open.
Oh.
So he does need some shielding. Actually, most people are shielded, he's not. He's like he has very little shielding. I mean, if you're going to live in this part of the country, you need some shielding. If you lived in the mountains of Montana, I would think animals need the shielding. But
Could you elaborate on what the shielding?
yeah, the
exactly
shielding. Yeah, like it just means like you can't be too trusting. You need to use your head more than your heart.
Robert, and he's very, very giving, right?
Yeah.
Is he?
Well, he operates from the heart center,
Yeah.
Right.
which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is a beautiful
We're not
thing.
saying get out of the heart center.
no, I know that.
We're just saying balance the heart center with the head center, right? It's like the two have to balance. And so this way, when someone's heart's unshielded like that, they're very trusting. They're vulnerable. Vulnerability is okay, but
Yeah.
they can be open to suggestions, and they just too trusting, I would say. Nothing's wrong with trust, but there has to be some cautionary
Balance.
Caution.
Balance.
Caution.
Yeah.
elements. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay.
Right. So there's a saying that goes, God, how did it go? Yeah. Go with your heart, but take your head with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Go with your heart, but take your head with you. Use this apparatus as well as this. So we just needed to kind of connect this with that. Okay? Not that we needed to shield him.
Yeah.
We just needed to have the heart needed to have a deeper connection and alignment with the head. So it's the heart chakra connecting to the third chakra,
Third eye.
right? Instead of like having some kind of a disconnect. He's not disconnected completely, but there is some disconnect because he's so heart-centered.
No.
Yeah, which is kind of probably more of your mother's energy, heart-centered.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I get. It's more the mother energy than your mother's energy than the father.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
For sure.
Thank you. Thank you for being open.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Robert. Yeah.
Thank you for being open.
Yeah.
Good.
And speaking of open, a lot of these young people are very open.
That are coming in.
Yes. Or
Right.
just that
Babies are
younger.
very open. It's like they're, of course, we all know that.
Well, maybe we don't.
But yeah, and we got to keep them empathic.
You're right.
I think what we're lacking is empathy.
In
I think
society.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we have to keep them empathic. I think, I don't know, that just feels absolutely necessary to me.
Right. Well, we know, a lot, we've all heard the stories of young kids coming in and how they, are speaking to God in their crib or whatever, like all those stories, right?
Oh, that they're gonna remember things from past lives,
Yeah.
abilities. They're singing younger, and But
Right.
you know what's very interesting? When Robert just said that, this connected for me. It was like, yeah, I get it. They are evolved, and we know that. But I think that they lose their empathy because we're in a world of information that happens so quickly. There's almost a distance between reality and oh, somebody got killed, but it's just on a screen, and I scrolled through it, and so and something like so that empathy is not there, right? Do you get what I'm saying? That was kind of what I felt when you were saying that
I think that
we disconnect.
I think that I feel that the institutions desensitize
Right. Wow.
the institutions,
Institutions.
including the educational institution. It's very left brain. Kids don't go out in nature anymore to be educated, right?
Yep.
Everything is very left brain. Not everything, but a majority. Like you look at schools today, the right brain activities such as music, art, they've been reduced.
Being reduced.
Exercise, movement, running around, nature connections, right? Like they have been reduced, and we're moving more towards the left brain activities. So they have a disconnect, and they lose their innocence, they lose their empathic nature, and of course we live in especially in the West, maybe generally, but certainly I can only comment about the West. That's where I've lived. It's a very competitive culture.
Yes.
Competition does not necessarily allow for and foster cooperation, right? So they're competitive, and they lose their innocence at a young age. And
what about their connection, though? Like I was saying, everybody comes in, right?
Connection. Right?
Yes, and then it disappears in most people, except people that end up staying.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Why does that happen?
To talk about that connection, we have to talk about defining success, right?
Okay.
Yeah. The way we define success in societies is not always connected to spirituality.
Right.
We define success as winning the competitive race, winning the winning the competitive race, or mastering the degree, and of course the mastering the field and the career they're in. It's not necessarily a we consciousness, W.
Right.
It's more of a me consciousness. Me. So
right.
So this disconnect between who they really are, which operates in the we consciousness. Children operate in the we consciousness,
right,
until the institutions distort them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they come in, you're connected, but then, at an early age, some people get disconnected to whatever degrees that is.
Right. Yeah, the disconnection happens at different degrees. They forget that we should be operating in what's in it for us, not just what's in it for me.
I heard something, I don't even remember where I heard it, but maybe you were with me, that up to like age 7, your soul, the kid in the soul, is kind of deciding if it wants to be here. Is that
it wants to be here on planet
staying? Yeah, staying. Yeah. And I don't know.
I hadn't heard that.
Okay, I just heard that recently, and I was like, really? And they said, that was their belief, their interpretation of it. That
Well, fortunately, fortunately, most souls decide to stay.
Yes, of course. Yes, but is that something?
Unless there is a purpose that they're coming in for, right? Sometimes the soul will come in with the purpose of the
dying,
right? Because there's lessons that they're agreeing to let other people learn.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, their soul contracts are very complicated.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
that's cool.
They are. It is a great, cool subject.
Yeah.
Not always easily understood or accepted because there's that sometimes there's pain in it, right?
There's always pain, I guess, when you lose a child, right? Or anything like right.
A child has a soul contract that comes in and decide, the soul contract is that it's going to die of an automobile accident at the age of 4, right? Like, that's really tough to absorb.
Yeah,
especially for the parents and the family. It's tough stuff.
Yes.
We can't really process this material on the personality level.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. It's like people have to be able to go to their spiritual identity, to their spiritual core, to process such information. And a lot of times they can't do it in that lifetime. It might have to be in the next or the next. So yeah, why did that child pass at the age of 4? Like,
right.
God knows. Like, there's, as you said, there's some kind of a contract, some kind of an agreement where there's a lesson that that child needed, that soul needed to learn in the body of a 4-year-old, and those that are in that child's orbit needed to learn.
Yes.
Right? Maybe humility.
It's usually
maybe empathy, maybe priority, right? So it's so multi-layered. It's not easy to understand.
No, you're right. The personality,
it does make sense on the level of the cosmic consciousness. It doesn't make sense on the level of the human consciousness.
Right, because this is our lifetime, but we're just in a blip. It's a blip in the cosmic consciousness of how long we're here, and we return home. Right, we all believe that our soul returns home and to love, but on this side, it's hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah,
right. Even knowing that, right. And it is, you do get some comfort in it, but if you can really, rise above, or also, we have lots of mediums on and things that specialize in speaking with people who have passed and, just knowing that they're there, but knowing that.
Yeah.
But the lesson thing's huge, especially around people that seem to die before what we would consider their time.
Yes.
It seems like there's, a bigger lesson. And I don't know, just looking at it seems like it's for other people, not necessarily that soul.
No doubt. Especially when it comes to children.
Right.
I mean, the deeper the suffering, the greater the lesson. Yeah. You see, as a species, we need to learn our lessons the easy way.
Right. There you go.
And I think that's the legacy I would like to leave behind, like when I'm teaching and when I'm working with the next generation of healers, to learn the lessons not the hard way. I mean, we have, we can learn it the hard way or we can learn it the easy way.
Yeah.
On planet Earth, most lessons are learned the hard way. That's why we have wars, famine, poverty, child abuse. We can go on and on, right? Exploitation of workers, exploitation of nature.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that's very big. Like, we can talk about that for another hour.
Yeah.
We are exploiting nature. We are poisoning our plants and our food system, the whole ecosystem. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. So we can learn our lessons the easy way. There is that opportunity. But that's not where we are at this point of our evolution on this planet 2024. We don't seem to do that.
So where we're going, let's talk about that. Yeah, no. So where do you see human consciousness? Where do you see that change? Because I think, while there's a lot happening, I think the change is in the process of coming. I think that there are good things on the horizon, although there's a lot too that we're going to have to face to get there.
Right. Yeah, it's like I compare it to somebody's going for their PhD, right? Yes. Or somebody wants to learn a trade. They want to be this amazing electrician. Yeah. And in order to get to that conclusion, they're going to have to really put in the work. They're going to have, sleepless nights of studying or hours and hours of working to master welding and electrical, understanding. So there's a lot of work that has to be done, and it's not always fun.
Right.
Right. So I feel like where we're at is like this is more intuitive on my part.
Okay,
It's like I can't answer that logistically.
No,
That's right.
I think we're about, in order to get our, not PhD, but maybe our master's as a human race, to get our master's degree, or to become a fairly good electrician, but not an excellent one. I think it's going to take about 20 to 25 years.
Okay. All right, we will.
Yeah. But in the meantime, we're going to be suffering. There's going to be some hard lessons.
Coming for the whole planet.
Yeah, I mean, hard lessons, what does hard lessons mean? Hard lessons means that there's going to be the haves and the have-nots, right? Okay. The haves holding on to the power and to the commodities, to the information, and the have-nots like struggling to survive. So yeah, there's going to be like a survival. We're still in survival mode. So yeah, I think I just hope that while people are in their survival mode, they don't end up hurting each other, and realize my neighbor is not my enemy. It's really those people who want to consolidate power. So to answer your question, I think we're looking at couple of decades more before we get to that place where we are thinking in the consciousness of what's in it for us. And
Till we completely evolve.
I don't know about...
There's
Yeah, completely might be too strong here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think that complete
evolution
complete evolution will take quite a time. We're talking hundreds of years.
Couple of lifetimes.
By complete evolution, we mean... Actually, what does that mean? What
I don't know.
Evolution mean? Okay, complete evolution, at least in my definition, it means like I look at you and I don't see a separation.
Yes.
I look at you and and I look and I go, oh, that's my sister. That's like, I connect to the soul. Like, like we have a soul connection, which means if I, in India, right, the term namaste, I mean, what it means is like the soul in me recognizes the soul in you, right? So it's a recognition. It's an understanding that separation is an illusion, that we are not separate. Because if I exploit you, I create negative repercussions for myself. Let's call it negative karma, right? So I should not be exploiting you. I should do my best to not exploit you. And I should make that effort. So are we there yet? No. So complete evolution means that, I don't exploit you.
Separation.
I recognize the soul in you, and I want to serve that soul in you. So, yeah, I mean, we'll get there. Absolutely, we will get there. I mean, the future is bright.
Yes.
Okay.
The future is absolutely bright. But to walk into that sunrise, we're going to be walking on some sharp rocks without shoes and socks.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt. Yeah. But the future is very bright. Yeah.
Sounds good. Did you want to talk about any of your other books, just so we're in...
Yeah, I mean, in the context of this conversation, what I said earlier was that we have to redefine success, okay? Culturally speaking, certainly in the developed countries, right? Culturally speaking, we have been defining success since the Industrial Revolution in a very dysfunctional way.
Yes.
Yeah. Success is achieving certain things without necessarily regarding what it's costing the planet, what it's costing other human beings. Right. So, I really believe individuals need to wake up and define success for themselves, and not the way
Society talks.
Yeah, well, not the way necessarily those who hold power define it.
Right.
You know, success is not about having power. Success is about serving others, right? From a place of power. We can have power, but how is power used?
Right.
You know?
Well, that has to change.
Right, absolutely. It has to change. I mean, the way we use power now has a lot of dysfunctionality and distortions, and unfortunately, catastrophic results. So young people have to really define power in a new way, and that new way is anchored in spiritual identity. You know? So in my books, like The Masculine Heart, I wrote a book called The Masculine Heart. The Masculine Heart is about, how do young men, what are we doing culturally that is shaping the minds of young boys? And that was the purpose.
Yeah,
of the book.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, culturally speaking, most of the things that we are doing in developed countries in shaping the minds of young boys is not necessarily healthy. We're keeping them in their competitive edge. Nothing's wrong with competition, but eventually we have to not compete in a way where we are winners and there's going to be a loser. I know the consciousness of this planet still operates in there. Well, there's always going to be losers and winners. That is the narrative.
Yeah, that's it has to become the old narrative. We need to move towards community.
Right. And what I'm saying is that it doesn't have to be that way. We can all be winners.
Yes.
We're not there yet.
Right.
Yeah, right. That's
As a
real.
collective. We're not there.
Right.
I mean, maybe in 20, 30 years we'll get there, we don't think that way.
Right.
So, in that book, The Masculine Heart, it, as well as my other book called Little Heroes, which is really short stories for children, what I'm trying to really bring it to surface or to light is this need for empathy, innocence, cooperation, and the understanding that there is enough. You see, this is where we go wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
The unfortunate narrative is that there isn't enough.
Right.
There isn't enough love. There isn't enough food. There isn't enough money. There isn't enough. Well, if we stay in the consciousness of cooperation, that is true. There won't be enough. Some people are going to take and hoard.
Competition. You said cooperation. Yeah.
Yeah. But the truth is there is enough.
Yeah.
And of course those voices that talk about there is not enough and continually
They're just instilling fear.
right continually bombard us with the news that there isn't enough. It was really for their benefit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that what we're starting to see, and you get a feel for how long it's going to take, but that the world is becoming tired of that, and those in power are fighting hard, or the ones with the loudest voices are fighting hard to continue to put that message into place. But I think that
It's a lot of
the good thing that comes with the connection we have with social media and with the way that we're able to connect with people quickly is that a lot of people are making their own decisions to see through that. And I think we're starting to see the change.
Yes, I think you're starting to see communities built, whether it's on social media. Like before, there was never, I don't remember before the age of internet, there was not a community that was, I should say a national community.
Right.
For example, the community of farmers, right? Suddenly you have, you can go on social media today and become part of a farm-to-table community, right?
Right.
Or become part of a community that fosters organic farming, right? And those things didn't exist, So, some young man in New York City is a member of that, and he doesn't even have a farm, but yet he supports that.
That's right.
So you see,
that's the awareness is changing now, and that's the
Right.
the nice part of it. That is
Yeah.
That is the nice part.
Well, it's kind of I see it like a double-edged sword. It's like
Absolutely.
you take a knife, you can cut a piece of apple with it, or you can hurt someone with it, right? So,
Right.
I mean, we can use social media to the benefit of mankind, humankind. So we're getting there. I mean, I'm very optimistic, but I do think there's going to be some. Why is there going to be suffering? Why? Why can't it be avoided? Because those in power who benefit from the exploitation, right, aren't going to give up their power. Yeah, they are not going to give it up very easily.
Right.
So that is why they're suffering. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I know it got kind of serious, but
Yeah, I was going to say. It's okay.
But anyway, thank you for those questions.
Yeah.
They're important questions, and we do have to look to the future, and we do have to address what these children need in the future. And we let's come back to the soul lessons
Yes.
Yeah.
and the soul purpose. And if we can keep their empathic nature intact, they will make decisions that are more unified and collective for the benefit of all of us. And I think that needs to be our objective,
Right.
because these kids are our future, and the systems, the institutional systems out there, whether it's healthcare, food resources, housing, are not really working. Economics, banking, especially banking, are not working for the benefit of keeping us empathic. Yeah.
Here's to change, guys.
That's
Here's to
right.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
to change. So I think that spiritually and practically, you gave us some great advice.
Yeah.
It's cutting.
Thank you.
And for people to position themselves for the changes that are coming in this world, that they may be tough, but there is light ahead, and we should be looking forward to that. And thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
A lot to think about, a lot to work with.
Yes.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank
That
you.
was,
Thank you.
Okay.
a nice
This was a good
foundation.
topic.
This was good. This was great. We covered a lot of bases.
Yeah. We went from topic to topic. So anyway, we'll see you next time on our podcast, Balance Your Life.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Robert.
All right.
See you next week.
Yes.